11 Good Ways to Help Your Thunder-phobic Dog. A video from the volunteers of Safe Harbor Farm Canine Smile Project at givesmiles.us. Narrated by Lynn Swanson, DVM. With input from Sky the Minpin Mix, who's definitely not a fan of thunderstorms. Thunderstorm anxiety is an issue for many dogs, and it is one that can grow over time, feeding off the energy of others when it's not self-perpetuating, building layer upon layer upon layer with each approaching storm. Rehabilitation of anxiety requires replacing each of these layers, also over time, with psychologically healthier ones, and the process can be like peeling off cold, wet clothing so you can don warm and cozy alternatives. But not quite that easy. To understand thunderstorm anxiety, it pays to understand certain aspects of canine behavior, so let me start with a few basics. Whether it's behavior we like to see or behavior we hate to see, a dog's behavior, moment by moment, reflects his nature and his nurture. It reflects his state of mind and his energy level, and it reflects associations that he's making and routines that he's familiar with. When people ask me why their dog is doing something, the answer usually lies in one or more of these categories. When it comes to nature, Mother Nature is a lot bigger than any of us. It pays to work with a dog's nature instead of against it, but that isn't always what people do, and the results can be quite stressful for everyone involved. When it comes to nurture, some of us have pretty good pet parenting skills, while others inadvertently set themselves and their dogs up for issues. The more we understand what works with dogs and why it works, and what doesn't work with dogs and why that is, the more our thunder-phobic dogs can be set up for success as opposed to stress. Now, if behaviors were just that, behaviors and nothing more, we'd all be robots. Understanding the state of mind behind a dog's behavior is a first step toward promoting healthier states of mind, and therefore fewer symptoms like anxiety. Why is a dog's energy level significant? Because behavior, both good and bad, is fueled by energy. How and when we drain a dog's extra energy can make a huge difference when it comes to addressing behaviors that we don't want. How dogs view their environment depends upon the associations they make with its components: people, items, actions, and events. When we take the time to recognize existing associations, and when we work with our dogs to reinforce the best of them and form healthy new associations, ideally right from the start, issues that lead to stress and anxiety are minimized, if not completely eliminated. This is where smart routines can help dogs and their people through stressful times, and poorly thought out routines just make everything worse. Our goal, whenever we deal with a thunder-phobic dog, is to send 3 messages. The first is that, hey, thunderstorms happen, and they don't have to be a big deal. Second, in any circumstance where he's uncertain, he can follow and count on the calm, clear, and confident lead of his people. And third, it's a good thing to be relaxed, and his most relaxed side pleases us. With this in mind, let me discuss 7 good things to do and 4 important things not to do to help your thunder-phobic dog weather the next storm, and the one after that, and the ones after that. One thing worth doing is reaching for a little help if you got it, and 2 products stand out in this regard. The first is calming pheromone oils, which come in easy-to-use sprays. And the second is a thunder shirt, both used in a relaxed and matter-of-fact manner, that is, with a relaxing smile and without undue conversation. While neither of these products is guaranteed to work with every dog, or, this is important, by themselves without you doing the other things mentioned in this video, they are always worth a try. In my experience, dogs adapt to thunder shirts extremely well, and some love them so much that they seek them out the minute the barometer changes, even before thunder can be heard. Another tool that's of great help, if you have one and your dog knows how to use it, is a treadmill set to a relaxed walking pace. Why does treadmilling help? Because dogs that move forward physically tend to move on psychologically too. They don't get stuck in unproductive states of mind. Also, because treadmilling at a relaxed, natural but varied pace gives dogs a way to use up extra energy, so that very same energy doesn't feed their anxiety. Now, with all of that said, and before I move on to the next thing you can do, The last thing you want to do is treadmill your dog. Treadmilling is when you treadmill your dog all by himself at an unchanging pace or a pace that is too fast or too slow. It's also when you don't introduce your dog to a treadmill correctly, so he never really enjoys himself. For help introducing your dog to treadmills and using them in ways that your Thunder-phobic dog will enjoy and look forward to, read Chapter 17 of this book a few times over. It's a book you can begin reading on this website. On to the second thing you can do to help your Thunder-phobic dog. It's to follow the 5 C's of good canine communication, that is body language, in everything you do. The 5 C's are important because dogs watch what we do and how we do it closely. They're sensitive to changes in our posture, positions, movement, and energy, both in quantity and quality. So what are the 5 C's? They are calm, consistent, confident, canine intuitive, and clear. By calm, I mean not rooted in excitement or emotion of any kind. Why? Because anxiety is a high-energy monster, and it absolutely feeds off the energy of others. The last thing an anxious dog needs is an animated or emoting person upping the energy in the room. Consistent means simply not one way one moment and a completely different way the next. Dogs, like little kids, feel better when they have a sense of what's about to happen. Thunder-phobic dogs in general feel better with an element of consistency. Sending a message of confidence to our dogs is always better than one that is hesitant, unsure, or insecure. I mean, would you feel comfortable following a person who is hesitant, unsure, or insecure? Probably not, and your dogs feel the same way. Being canine intuitive means a number of things. For one, it means being less conversational than us humans usually are. Remember how I said that dogs watch for changes in our posture, position, movement, and energy? Well, to dogs, our voices equate to energy, and it's worth repeating. The last thing anxious dogs need is the energy of others feeding their anxiety monster. Being canine intuitive also means using body language that honors important canine social cues and social rules. The more human intuitive, but not canine intuitive, our postures, positions, movement, and energy are, the more anxious, anxiety-prone dogs are going to be. The book I mentioned goes into this topic in detail, and it teaches using stories that allow you to recognize yourself and your home situations within its pages. Lastly, being clear means following 2 important rules. I call them the golden rules. Let me explain. Underlying every one of your dog's behaviors is both an energy level and a state of mind. A dog's energy in any given moment can be calm, elevated, or high. His state of mind can reflect relaxation, excitement, watchfulness or anticipation, concern, or even fear. Which energy level and state of mind would you like your dog to default to in your home, out in public, and when stressful events like thunderstorms occur? Would you want him to exhibit a high level of energy, one in which excitement can slip into concern and anxiety? Of course not. You'd like him to be calm and relaxed. This is where golden rules number 1 and 2 come in. Golden rule number 1 is reward what you want. And golden rule number 2, which can be a lot harder to follow than golden rule number 1, is stop rewarding what you don't want. In other words, don't reward the unsettled states of mind, higher energy levels, and behaviors that you don't wish to see repeated. Now, there are lots of reasons these are the golden rules, but cutting to the chase is this. You will always get more of what you reward. Dogs are excellent puzzle solvers when it comes to getting what they want, and they quickly catch on to which energy levels, states of mind, and behaviors gather attention. This is where poorly timed touch, conversation, and attention can actually promote a dog's anxiety, and we don't want to do that. Do any of the kind-hearted people in these pictures see their soothing voices, touch, and gentle rubs as rewarding their dog's concerned or anxious state of mind? Of course not. But that is exactly what they're doing. Responding to a dog's concern, shaking or shivering, with conversation, touch, or cuddling only promotes more of the same. So what can we do instead? Well, we can get up and get moving in a calm and matter-of-fact manner, be it across the room to do a mundane task or around the house to do the same. The better to demonstrate that the sky isn't falling and to show our dogs that all is okay and get them moving too. I said it before, but it's worth repeating. Dogs that move forward physically are better able to move on psychologically. Now, am I saying that you shouldn't touch, talk to, or cuddle your dogs? Of course not. I am saying it's important to watch your timing when you do it so you're rewarding your dog's most relaxed state of mind during storms and not his anxiety. My favorite way to encourage a dog's most relaxed, calm, and confident side is to reward it with relaxed, genuine, and up-to-my-eyes smiles. Now, this may seem like a no-brainer, but although it makes a lot of sense to recognize and reward calmness and relaxation as good behavioral choices, the better to get more calmness and relaxation, no matter what the circumstances. Our species tends to take both of these things for granted. If anything, we tend to reward our dog's animation, despite the fact that animation can slip into arousal and even anxiety, fueling behaviors that we don't want. Take it from this veterinarian. A lot of dogs put on anti-anxiety drugs don't need them. They don't. More than anything else, they need their owners to follow Golden Rule number 1 and Golden Rule number 2. Now, why do I say reward your dogs best with a smile? Well, if you've watched our other videos or read our book, you already know many beneficial reasons why. If this is your first exposure to our work with dogs, let me share just 3 of them. 1, because dogs, like little kids, like to be around relaxed, happy people. 2, because well-timed, genuine smiles convey a heck of a lot more than words do, and what our facial muscles do to all the other muscles of our body when we smile says volumes about us when we communicate with nonverbal species. As a pretty darn verbal species, we tend to forget that. And 3, because when you want to reward calmness and relaxation as good behavioral choices, you want to do it in a way that doesn't pop your dog out of the very calm relaxation you want. Genuine, well-timed smiles do that. Treats and verbal praise, as nice as they are, do not. Treats and verbal praise increase the energy level of any dog. They turn relaxation into anticipation. Now, the first instinct of many thunder-phobic dogs is to hide, as hiding is a survival mechanism rooted in nature. If a dog with mild anxiety wants to hide, give him a safe and comfy place for him to ride out the storm, and a place that allows him to observe the calm and relaxed nature of people and other animals doing their thing in a calm, ho-hum, no big deal, hey, storms happen manner. Matter-of-factly closing off rooms where you don't want him to go can help you achieve this, and so will providing the comfiest of beds he can imagine. If your dog feels safest in his crate or in a bathtub, don't close the door to the crate or the bathroom. You don't want him to feel closed in. If he feels most comfortable curling up behind a door, ensure that it can't close unexpectedly, trapping him on the other side. It would make matters much worse. When your dog decides to come out on his own, make sure that you are smiling at, petting, or in some way quietly acknowledging the calmest and most relaxed of your other pets. You want one message to be clear above all. Calmness and relaxation are always rewardable choices, no matter what else is going on. Be sure not to set your dog up for failure by calling him when he's less likely to come. It would force him to choose between nature, that is his instinct to take cover, and nurture, that is your direction to come to you. If he's hunkered down and you need to move him to another location, the best way to do this is to hook a leash to his collar in a completely relaxed and matter-of-fact manner, without conversation, and then lead him just as matter-of-factly to the spot you prefer. In this way, you calmly show him the behavior you desire, as opposed to tell him what to do, and that's always a better approach with unsure and anxious dogs. This one is a biggie, everyone. Don't allow your dog to pace. Why? Because for one thing, pacing tends to self-perpetuate. And for another, one dog's pacing will set the other dogs on end. Consider pacing to be a malignant behavior, and stop it quickly by calmly hooking a leash to your dog. Now you have two options, both of which allow you to include any mentor dogs you have, to send the message that storms don't have to be a big deal, and there's certainly not a good reason to pace. If your pacer is at a mild level of anxiety, you can wordlessly and matter-of-factly tie him to a sturdy piece of furniture next to a safe place of your choosing, and then quietly stand your ground for as long as it takes him to relax, lie down, and curl up, often with a stress-relieving sigh. The entire process may take several minutes, as he mentally toggles between his old routine, pacing, and the alternative that you propose. You might even want to grab a good book to help you pass the time needed to wait him out. It helps. Eventually, he will come to the decision to lie down on his own. When this happens, give him a big smile. Let a relaxed 10 or 15 seconds go by to ensure he stays in place, and then return to what you were doing with yet another happy smile. Your smiles and the peaceful energy they project are calm rewards for his calm choice to lie down, and they serve to take the stress out of the room for everyone. Not moving away until your dog relaxes completely is extremely important. Without a word spoken, it tells your dog that his calm relaxation is exactly what you want to see. For more about what walking away signifies to your dog, check out that book, Smile. It explains how walking away from a dog is different than walking away from a person, and why it's important to time your walkaways thoughtfully. Your second option, if your dog is at a higher level of anxiety and you have and know how to use a treadmill correctly, is to use it to direct his movement to a more productive activity. This kind of dog needs to work off the extra energy fueling his anxiety. Here's little Sky, my own Thunder-phobic dog, and here she is with some mentor buddies from our dog rescue, enjoying a relaxed walk together instead of pacing throughout the house. Treadmills aren't just for big dogs, as Boss Hog the Chihuahua here would be happy to demonstrate. The one caveat with small dogs is, you need a treadmill with a slow speed of half a mile per hour, because higher speeds may not be comfortable for them. When it comes to pacing dogs, never lock them in a crate. Locking dogs in crates when they're excited or in an anxious state of mind creates very negative associations with crates, and it tends to perpetuate the very anxiety you hope to stop. Don't get overly conversational with these dogs either. Remember, any time you use your voice, it just adds energy to a situation. Demonstrate via your own behavior the energy level, state of mind, and behavior you want, calmly, clearly, confidently, consistently, and using canine intuitive body language. Remember the 5 C's? Telling dogs what you want as if they were a little kid doesn't work quite the same way. When it comes to Thunder-phobic dogs, the more proactive you are, the better things will be when it comes to the next storm. One of the best ways to be proactive is to routinely exercise both your dog's body and brain during storm season. A happily tired and fulfilled dog isn't going to have the energy reserves required to perpetuate anxiety. Don't fall for the fallacy that letting a dog wander around a backyard is exercise. Wandering aimlessly around a backyard, especially if you have a working, sporting, herding, or terrier breed, doesn't work a dog's brain and body the way walking next to you or performing little tasks for you does. If you've got a herding dog or tenacious terrier who needs a job, be sure to check out Tri-Ball, a super fun game that you can play in your backyard with large balls that you can find online. You don't need a hockey net like the one you see in this picture. It's easy to use a couple of traffic cones or even a series of boxes to the same effect. To learn more, search for Tri-Ball and YouTube to find this video and other good ones. In them, you'll see how to drain your dog's energy reserves in less than 5 minutes, and you'll see how happy a dog can be when allowed to do what he does best. In this case, herd objects into a pile. Another good way to be proactive is to teach your dogs patient tying. Begin with tying them to sturdy pieces of furniture at mealtime, and gradually increase the time that they are tied. Release them when it's convenient, but only if they're quiet and relaxed, never when they're fussing. Then experiment with tying your dogs to other stable objects and other places for short times. Here is a short clip of dogs at our shelter tied for 5 minutes after some treadmilling time. It just goes to show how wonderful and flexible this skill is. is part of our shelter's everyday routine for every dog. The last thing worth discussing is knowing when to ask your vet about medication. Medication can be helpful if your dog's anxiety turns into household destruction, or if he self-perpetuates his anxiety despite your following all the recommendations of this video. Know the limits of medication too. Oral medications take time to be absorbed, and a dog's fight or flight mechanism during a storm can override their effects. Some have certain side effects. Be sure you know what they are so you can watch out for them. In my experience, dogs who hate thunderstorms never really grow to like them. But when their calm and relaxed side is consistently rewarded, and their concerned or anxious side never gets fed into, they really do a lot better over time. I hope this video has been of help to you and your thunder-phobic dog. For more information on canine anxiety, you can find chapters in this book on distressing stressed dogs, distressing stressed dog owners, and the mother of all canine anxieties, separation anxiety, plus a whole lot more. You can learn more about it and start reading it at this website. Thanks, everyone!